Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Long time no see. I'm finally back with a sit down makeup kind of video and I'm excited to talk to you about what I'm going to talk to you about today. One of my dear friends, Lucy, messaged me with a request. She wanted to know how I get dewy skin and also kind of do like a holiday vacation beach sunset kind of vibe. So that's what I went with today, and I literally talk you through exactly my thought process and how I achieve dewy skin when I have dry skin. Mega dry skin. I can't wait to share my tips and tricks with you, and let's just get into the video. Cringe. These are such weak hair clips. I know that I've just filmed an intro and I've just chatted to you guys, but I'm just gonna give you one quick update real quick, and that is that I've done my skincare a good 40 minutes before I've done this. You don't have to do it that early before you do your makeup. However, what I will say, what's been working for me recently with my dry skin is to apply those products a decent amount of time before I do put the makeup on. As you guys know, I do suffer with dry skin and I've kind of varied my products, and so far I haven't found that a change in product has made a change in my skin, but the application technique, making sure that sometimes I will do 2 layers of moisturizer if I need it, and that has been working for me. So that's what I'm gonna say. So just real quick, I'm gonna let you know that I use 3 products to prep before my makeup. This isn't a primer, this is my skincare, and what I use the Buffet serum from The Ordinary. Then after that I use the vitamin C serum by Soap & Glory, and then for my moisturizer I use the Eucerin Aquaporin Active. I'm always switching my moisturizers up, so I'm not going to specifically say that I recommend that moisturizer. However, I am enjoying it, so yeah. Cool, now let's get into the makeup. So what I do want to do, I want to start talking about primers and kind of the ones that I gear towards to get dewy skin. I am going to be doing a full look in this video, but the priority is the skin in this, so I'm going to spend a bit more time doing that part with you guys. So for me, I am always slightly changing up the products that I mix together, because that's what I have to do for me personally to achieve the dewy skin look that I want, and I always customize it depending on how long I need the makeup look to last. Sometimes I'm going out with friends, I'm not anymore. Sometimes I'm on a walk with my boyfriend and I don't necessarily care that it lasts that long. I'm only going out for an hour or so and I just want to look semi-decent, so then I'll use the ones that I know are more dewy but less long wearing. Or when I know, for example, I'm going back to work soon and I'm gonna have to make something work for a good 10-hour day, then I know that I've got to mix some of that with something a bit more durable. So the primers I have in my hand are generally the ones that I kind of mix between. So these ones, well, this one's a moisturizer. These are the primers that I go in between. I'm going to talk a little bit about them, but I am aware this one is a moisturizer, but I'll tell you exactly why I do mix that in. So I do have the Glamglow moisturizer in Nude Glow. I have the SOS, this is just a sample, but I have the SOS primer from Clarins, and I have the e.l.f. putty primer. Then I also have Pro Filter by Fenty, and I also have the Radiance primer by Smashbox, which this has been discontinued, but I have to add it because if you can find it anywhere, like personally this is my favorite one out of them all. Not for the longevity, but definitely for helping me achieve that glowy look. So my general rule with the primers is I either go with the Fenty Hydrating primer when I need something that's a little bit less long wearing and I want it to be super, obviously, hydrating. I do love this primer, but again, it's just not very long wearing. And then for work days, what I would normally do is use the e.l.f. Universal Putty Primer if I'm not using the Benefit Hydrating Primer. So that one's in my drawer because I've got a new one I haven't opened, so I'm not opening it just for this video, but that's kind of my general rule. So you've got your fun going out, want to look my best for pictures, don't necessarily need the longevity, and then this one generally for longevity, but again, if not this one, the Benefit Hydrating Primer. Then when it comes to the glow factor, I do kind of just mix it up, see how I feel on the day, though I do love to use this, but I try not to use it unless I really need it because of the fact that I'm never going to be getting another one, so I didn't realise that it was being discontinued until it was too late. So I have one and that's kind of it. But this one is generally my favourite because the colour that it is specifically works well for me, and it does beam through my foundations. Moving on from that, with the New Glow by Glamglow, I got this in a set and I've been using it, and I do really like this. I generally will use this on days when I'm extra dry, just because it is that extra layer of moisture. Colour wise, it's not too far from the Smashbox one, so I don't mind it, but it doesn't work as well as the Smashbox one for me. Lastly, this is just one that I've recently been trying out, so that's why I'm mentioning it. So with this one, I don't really know a lot about it. I haven't tested it out that much in terms of whether it helps my makeup last any longer, but I do see that it has helped a little bit of glow seep through when I put foundation on top of it. I did also want to quickly mention, because I did forget to pick it up, that also a really good one as well is High Beam, especially if you're on the paler side and you don't want the undertone to have like a golden glow. I love to use this on the high points of my face as well as mixing it in with my foundation. High Beam was the one that I originally discovered, so this has kind of been my long-term go-to, and I genuinely believe if you're on the paler side, you can't go wrong with this, and you do get 2 uses out of it because it is also a liquid highlighter. Whereas with the other primers, I wouldn't recommend putting them on top of your foundation. So this one's duo use, and if I remember rightly, this one is probably more cost effective because you can buy this one in a mini and little pot goes really long way. So okay, I'm rambling. We'll move on to foundation. So I'm just going to start by showing you 3 foundations. I'm going to narrow it down for you guys because otherwise you could easily Google a list of 10 best foundations for dewy skin, but I'm just going to tell you my general top 3. So the first one is not a dewy foundation, which I know is contradictory to what I'm trying to do here, but I will kind of tell you why I choose this one. Also, it is a little bit gross, but I did break the bottle and it isn't the right colour, so I am going to have to change it when the shop's open. But I do go for this one for the long wear. Normally it would have been MAC Pro Long Wear, but they discontinued that last year, I think, or it might have been the end of 2019. I'm not really sure. Basically, it's discontinued. That was my favourite foundation. Would never have strayed, never would have used another foundation, and then they got rid of it. So great. Obviously this is kind of a demi-matte foundation. For me it is definitely matte, but that's why I use the glowy tints to mix in with it, which for me like works really well. Specifically High Beam mixes really well with this foundation, and I do that generally for days that I want it to be long wearing. And especially with masks as well, this doesn't go anywhere, so it's perfect for me. Secondly, I'm going to go for the Fenty Hydrating Foundation. I love this foundation for the day-to-day wear when I want something that's quite natural, not too heavy, but I definitely want that dewy glow. I've also worn this like for longer days just by setting it with powder, and you can do that, but generally like powder doesn't go well with me, so I definitely do have to think about when I'm going to wear this. Sorry if the angle's changed, but I was having technical difficulties. So getting back to what I was saying is that the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation I love, but I do also have to tell you that it is not mask proof. If you set it with powder, of course, then it will be, but if you're like me, then you kind of can't, so that's also something to bear in mind. Then I'm also going to show you the Benefit Hello Happy Foundation. Personally, I like this foundation when I need to do quick makeup. I kind of want immediate payoff for the coverage, and it does have a glow in there. It does. I definitely have to prep my skin to get the most out of this foundation, but for me it's definitely worth it. It's always a good backup to have. The next thing I want to talk to you is about bronzer, and I don't really have a lot to say regarding bronzer with shimmer, bronzer without shimmer, because generally like I used to. I literally live with the Hoola bronzer for the longest time, and I've said that before, that literally since the age of about 15 this is the only bronzer I've ever had. Recently I have tried the Fenty Beauty Freestyle Cream Bronzer, and personally I really like this. It helps to give that natural kind of glow to my skin, and I'm all for that. But again, Hoola's more long wearing, so it depends on where you're going and your exact needs. The next thing I'm going to touch on obviously is blush. So for me, I have 2 powder blushes that I rely on when I'm looking for a glowy blush, and I also have 2 cream ones here. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about 4 blushes that I have. 2 are cream, 2 are powder with shimmer, and I'll give you a real quick rundown. When it comes to powder, I either go for the 05 Metal Fusion blush. This is a Kiko one, so this one gives a really nice coral shimmer, and I love that. I also have the Georgia blush by Benefit. This is more pale than this one, so this one is a really nice blush topper as well, but I do like to use it on its own when I want more of a subtle blush, but I love this one too. So moving over to cream, I have the Fenty blush in, I think it's Fuego Flush. That might be wrong and that might be really embarrassing, but I have this one which, you know, at first really scared me because I was like, oh my god, that's so orange, but I've actually found quite a natural way to wear it, so I kind of love this, and it does leave a little bit of a glow on the cheeks, and I love that. So it wouldn't be right for me to make this video telling you about the products that I do like, what works for my skin, if I didn't mention this, which doesn't work. So I ordered the whole Morphe 2, well, I ordered the skin tint and this because of the fact that I was looking for the dewy effect, but to be completely honest with you, it's matte on me. This is matte on me, the foundation is matte on me, so I just wanted to really quickly point that in there, that even though this is a really nice colour, I wish that it worked for me, but it actually doesn't. So just to put the realness in there, let you know, because I bought this when I watched videos of people with dry skin saying, look how glowy I am as a result of this, and it's like, how? It don't look like that on me, and I wasted my money. So I am probably going to find a way to use them, but thus far I haven't. I've kind of been wearing the skin tint when I want a matte day, which was not the point of it. And also for me with dry skin, I'm really aware of the fact that I wear it, and everybody says that they can't feel it, but I definitely can because it feels so matte. So lastly, I'm going to give you my final tip for getting glowy skin, and that is to use a MAC mineralized skin finish. When I tell you that I struggled for the longest time with looking so matte, that the first thing I tried before I ever started using highlighty type primers, that these were my go-to. I basically wore these as face powder, which is probably not cost effective, and for some people that would be too much, but believe it or not, I am that matte when I put foundation on that people didn't even realise that I just essentially whacked highlighter across my whole face. I worked a whole festive period working in retail beauty with this all over my face, and people were asking me what foundation, what primers I was wearing, and the reality is I was lying. It was not real. The glow was not coming from liquid, the glow was coming from powder. The dry stuff. And it was these bad boys. So we have the Lightscapade shade, and we also have Double Gleam, and honestly I swear by them. This one is more highlighter than I would use that over my face, but I do use Double Gleam wherever I need it to like add glow, add moisture to my skin without adding any real moisture, because it takes a lot for me to add real moisture to my skin. So, and obviously not forgetting to use your favourite highlighter as well is always going to add that extra dimension to your skin and make it look glowier than it was, so that as well. Those are kind of my general tips for skin. Just to say that I'm going to go for the matte foundation just to show you guys how I can crack through a demi matte. It's kind of like the tougher of the foundation, so I thought we'd just go big or go home. So yeah. So I just had to go and quickly get a delivery, but we are fighting the light, so we're gonna speed on. Godspeed, let's go. Spit Spot. I'm using the 24-hour MAC Studio Fix concealer. Yeah, it's a staple, so I'm gonna use it. So yeah, I'm gonna do my cream bronzer now. So that's me bronzed. I know it's not that bronzy, but I mean, have you seen how pale I am? And I'm even more pale than I normally am. We're just gonna leave it at that. You can add Hoola on top if you want a bit more depth, or vice versa. You can use one, not the other. It's bronzer, you know? So picking my blush today, I am gonna go for Georgia. Okay, so this is my general complexion with my blush and bronzer, and now I'm going to go ahead and show you how I use the skin finishes. So I literally will just kind of play around with it, usually see what points are sticking out to me. I do use it on my under eye, which might seem crazy to some people, but literally, like, I'm that dry, it just works. And depending on how dewy you want to go, like, to add natural highlighter, like a beaming highlighter on top, it just adds even more dimension. Escapade on, which this one I kind of like to pick where I'm gonna put it, so mostly on the high points. I'm also not recommending that this is like the best way to do this. There's probably easier ways, but it's just how I've done it, and people ask me, so I'm just telling you what I do. So for highlighters, I'm really not that fussed. I have a few that I go between. In general, I just kind of stick to a champagne-y colour. So generally I will use Cookie, but I do have some Revolution highlighters which work just as well, and they're cheaper. So I mean, take your pick. It doesn't really matter because you've already applied so much glow. So I'm just gonna go and pop that on my high points. Do you see that? Do you see that? Oh my god, love it. I'm aware that it might seem extra that I use so many of these products, but you literally don't need them all. I just have them, so I use them. But you could pick one of either, so. And to be honest, you could use Cookie instead of using the mineralized powders, because that's what I did before I had the powders, so. Okay, so the time has come. I'm gonna pop off, do my eyebrows, come back, figure out a natural eye look, and then we'll be done, so. See you in a minute. Okay, so my brows are done. I did them kind of quickly just because I really am losing the light, so we need to get this done before it's dark. And plus I have literally any minute now my boyfriend's coming home and this is not done, so. Okay, so I'm just popping eye primer on. I use the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, but I also have the P. Louise base and a few others, so a specific eye primer doesn't really matter for this look at all, really. You can use concealer. I used concealer for the longest time and it was fine, so. So for my eyes, I'm gonna start by using the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, and I'm gonna use the shade G Money. You don't need to use a specific palette, to be honest, for my eyeshadow looks at all. You don't need to use any specific palette. I'm only going between palettes because I don't have a good neutral palette, so I kind of need to just go between what I have. Okay, I know it looks like a lot right now, and to be honest, it is a lot. I wasn't expecting it to pan out as vibrant as this, but we're here, so we're gonna keep moving. So now I'm gonna take this shade again and just pop it kind of on my waterline, which I don't do this often, so this could completely backfire. What I'm about to do is a bit of a gamble, so it literally might not pay off, and then this whole video has gone to waste. But I'm now gonna take Flawed and Awed and pop that kind of not in the corners, from the corner to the center. Cool, I think that's okay. And then I'm gonna do like a halo sandwich kind of vibe. So I'm gonna add Cookie in the center and underneath my brow bone. Okay. Down the center, which looks a bit insane right now. Blending time. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with what I've done, so I'm just going to add some MAC Dazzle liner, just dab it on the middle going upwards, and then after that I'm going to pop on mascara, and then I'll be back, because then all we have to do is lips, and then we're done. We're done! Yay! So I just finished my eyes. I'll give you a close-up. That's kind of what I've gone for. The very last part of this look is the lips, the lipstick. So I'm going to be using the Rimmel Lasting Finish Liner in Tiramisu. So I've already got balm on my lips, so I'm not really going to need gloss for this look, but usually I would put gloss on after. For my lipstick, I'm using the L'Oreal Colour Rich Ultra Matte No Obstacles. That's the lip colour. I really like this colour. I eyed it up quite a while before getting it, and then when I got it, I never looked back. Okay, so the very last steps in my routine are my setting spray. I do actually use two when I am doing dewy, so I use the Fenty Hydrating Setting Spray first. I love the mist on this, and it has a really nice fragrance. See, I always use two because I always use this one to amp up my dewiness. And then I always use the tried and true classic Urban Decay All Nighter Spray to set it for the longevity that I need. Give me a second, I'll be back. Okay, so this is the finished look. I know that my metals don't match, but we're just gonna ignore that because I don't have a gold necklace. This is the look. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope that my tips and tricks for how I get dewy skin can help you out. And yeah, stay tuned, comment if you've got any requests, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Why?